Hello, everyone. Satsang at Astrology here. Now to talk about the second half of March. Okay, I'm going to try to avoid expressing my feelings, even though it's so hard for me to express my feelings at this moment. Under the circumstances the world lives. I would say, though, that my peach tree gave me some beautiful flowers, and I was hoping for the bees to come and pollinate them so I can have peaches. And I saw the bees today, this morning, so I was very happy about that. So that's about how I feel about my contrast, I would say, about the circumstances that the world is living today. I love the earth, I love humanity, I love people. So it's very hard for me to understand. I didn't plan on starting on this note, but anyways, I guess everyone will feel identified, with some exceptions, of course. But anyways, today I would like to speak about the second half of March and share with you, let's see, share with you the chart for the Virgo full moon to get started. So in any case, if you like to contact me, here is my contact information. I mainly working on my blog, Satsang at Astrology.blogspot.com, and YouTube. That's the main places, although I publish in Tumblr, MeWe, Facebook, sometimes. Very seldom on Instagram, but if you're there, you can get my contact information as well. So, so I will share the chart, and let's get started with it. So here is the chart for, if I find it, because it's giving me all of them. So let me see. Did I? Yeah, I said share. Which one is it and where is it? Okay. Okay, here it is. So I can see it. Okay, this is full screen for you to see it very clearly. So here we have the full moon chart and Virgo, right? It's the culmination of the Pisces cycle because the new moon was in Pisces, if you remember, together with Jupiter and close by Neptune as well. So the moon is culminating. This cycle is the maximum potential. And as you see, disregard these grand squares because those are the ascendant, descendant, and midheaven, and such. So this is the earth. This is the sign for the earth, and I would talk a little bit about it. But here is this full moon is the only body that it is on this side of the chart. And if you see from Pluto to the north node is the whole range of the array of the planets, and the moon is alone on the other side. So this moon represents the people, represents our emotional and automatic reactions. It represents our psychological and psychic natural reactions to life, right? And it is alone there and being affected by all these planets, right? And since it left the north node here, it has been aspecting in Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. It has been aspecting all of those planets. So we can say that it is a very afflicted moon, right? And it's all alone, like shining star in the theater, you know, with all those spectators. And this moon represents the people, the public opinion, and our, as I said, our psychological disposition regarding what is going on with all those planets. And it's also our sense of security, nurturance, and as I mentioned in the previous video for the new moon in Pisces, I highlighted the importance of these, of all the planets, most of the planets packed in the last quadrant of the zodiac, which is the public sphere, which is the institutions of society, the collective of society, and the collective of humanity. We have in Aquarius the collective consciousness, in Pisces the collective unconsciousness. I also mentioned also that in previous writings and videos that the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that hasn't happened for 166 years will bring an expansion of the unconscious, so much so that many people will suffer derangement, literal mental derangement, because this affects as I said, subconscious and unconscious of humanity. And I highly encourage, if you've ever had mental imbalances, or if you are in a treatment for a mental disorder of any kind, make sure that you are close to your therapist, that you get help if you need it. And sorry about highlighting this, but it's an actual influence that we haven't experienced in our whole life. So as I said, it has happened 166 years ago. So no one on earth has experienced this. And Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces will, and the sun together, right, is illuminating the unconscious of people. And if we have imbalances, it can affect us very much without us understanding how and why and when. It is an influence that really affects our mind, our spirit, our psychology, and we need to find ground. And I think the full moon will provide us with this grounding. So make sure that you relate to the earth in some manner. You can do gardening, for example. You can hug trees if nothing else, right? It's almost springtime. You can plant in even in a small pot you can make plant a seed or plant something and take care of it. Walking barefoot will help you ground. Eating roots, for example, and all those vegetables and roots that grow under the earth could be a benefit for us to ground ourselves. Also, massage therapy and things that that provide a relationship with the physical, the material. Eating a good meal, or having people, hugging people, and things like that, it will help us to be more stable and find more safety, right? The security that the moon and the nurturance that this moon needs. So in general, we at the collective level, I think this moon in Virgo will focus on health, daily routines, as I said, the chores that we need to do in order to maintain balance and to maintain the physical reality, right? Doing exercises. And also, this moon will focus on solving problems and conflicts and things that went out of balance. So remember, Virgo is the problem solver. So if you know a Virgo in your life, you know that they may be critical, but the thing is that they are able to see where things are not working properly, and they want to get it right, to repair it, to fix it, to assist in some capacity. Virgo moon will be looking to nurture through service. So it is interesting that the higher functionality of the moon in Virgo is to study, to analyze, to look for order in the confusion of the feelings. The other thing that we have seen is unprecedented, I think, is the willingness of people to help those who have been displaced by the war. And why I say unprecedented, because if you remember, the exodus, for example, from Syria, the people coming, escaping other wars in Africa, Afghanistan, they were not welcomed so eagerly like Ukrainian people are welcome. So there is a shift here, and I think is due to this Jupiter Neptune conjunction in Pisces, where the boundaries are completely dissolved, and all of a sudden this conflict involves the whole world and encompasses the whole world. I think is not necessary for me to point out the global dangers of this event. I don't want to dig deeply into it, but because it's in the news, you probably are very well informed, so I don't need to remind you of it. But what I would like to point out is that the seriousness and the global influence of it, it is very obvious. I think is the maximum point of the globalization. From now on, I think the people of the world will understand that globalization may have had benefits, but it certainly is showing us the ugly face at the moment. And one of the things is this extreme expansion, the Jupiter, right? The globalization, once it meets Neptune in Pisces, the globalization has this expansive proportions that cannot be contained in the whole world. You know that it's even conquering the space, going to Mars, going to other places, the space, the atmosphere. So it is too much. And of course, when you inflate the balloon too much, it will burst, right? And if you remember the eclipses that we have on the South Node in Sagittarius was already precluding this. And with the South Node in Scorpio, we now understand the dangers of the codependence, right? Europe depending on the energy coming from Russia, for example. So making business with the enemy, right? Or the potential enemy. So it is, it has its risks. And now we are, oh, okay, it was probably wrong to make deals with someone who had the potential to be our enemy, right? So codependence in Scorpio is, we need to leave that behind. It's now showing its ugly face. And the North Node is indicating that we need to become self-sufficient, independent. We need to generate our own energy. We need to find our own food, Taurus, right? And Uranus is there to bring innovation and help us with that. So pretty soon Uranus and the North Node will meet, and we will completely and very surely understand that we need to become self-sufficient in order to sustain life, sustain viable and sustainable life on Earth, and in order to rely on our own resources. So, and this can very well manifest in your personal life, but is brought to us from those world events, those collective events here in Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces now, especially Pisces. So also the Sun in Pisces with Neptune and Jupiter. The Sun represents also authority figures, right? Father figures. And so I think that it's very emotional on the one side, and on the other side is the possibility to have a person who is deranged, right? Confused, deluded, an authority figure that is that has megalomania, right? Thinking that he could be the savior of the whole world, right? Sun together with Pisces. I mean, the universal savior. So be careful on trusting on people like that, and especially on authority figures like that. So I don't make names, you figure it out for yourself. And one other thing that I have mentioned before, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn of January 2020 had started a new cycle of Capricorn, the Capricorn paradigm. And many people would like to see the age of Aquarius already manifesting, where everybody is equal and there is collaboration and friendship. And well, we are in the process, we're not there yet. And these events, for example, let me show you the chart for, okay, here. I have to find it again. I will come back to this one, so I don't want to. Okay, here it is. Make it bigger again. Okay, so this is the president of Russia declaring war at February 24, 2022, 4:50 a.m. And we have Mars 22-25 degrees and Venus almost at 22 degrees. So remember, the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn was at 22 degrees, 46 minutes. And here we have a sextile with Neptune at 22 degrees as well. So this has the potential to be an attack that was in the imagination, that was in the collective unconscious imagination. That was that's why I always say we need to be very careful about what we think and what we speak about. But in any case, the person who started the conflict was in some case, it was imagining an expansion of the opportunity to expand to the universe, you know. So and certainly the conflict has that potential, although I don't think that will happen. As I mentioned before, the conflict started with the last quarter square of the moon, closing the cycle. And it doesn't mean that it will end tomorrow, but anyways, it's a closing cycle of the moon. So it's not a time when you start things, when you declare that you're doing this. So I just wanted to point out that. And also, I will show you another chart. So you see, okay, here. We have the upcoming April, let's see. No, I have to find it now because I have so many things open that it is hiding behind. Okay, here it is. Let's make it bigger so you can see it as well. So here we have, this chart is for the conjunction at 23 degrees 59 minutes of Jupiter and Neptune. It's April 12, 2022. And as you can see, we have a few hours earlier than this, we had all these bodies at 22 degrees 50 minutes. Saturn, Jupiter, right? The sun is at 22 degrees 41, and the north node is at 22:53. They're all aspecting the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. So Saturn is semi-sextiling, Jupiter is sextiling, the Sun is squaring that, and the North Node is trining. So as you see, this this configuration, as I said, a few hours, maybe on the 11th of April, all those were at 22 something something. So let me change the share because I want to go back to the full moon. And I'm gonna close the Jupiter Neptune, and I'm gonna close this one as well. Okay, I guess I don't have them anymore. Oh, just a minute, just a minute. The software crashed, so okay, so let's see. It's supposed to give me the full moon. Okay, there. Let's go back to the full moon in Virgo. Okay, so here, let's recap on the full moon in Virgo. So the Virgo full moon is trying to make sense and brings us down to earth, right? How can I help? How can I serve? And the Virgo moon, if you listening to this have a Virgo moon, then you understand that your purpose, your nurturing purpose, is to serve, to feed the poor, to feed the hungry, and assist the disenfranchised. So this is the tendency to, for example, help the refugees, and also identify with the Sun in Pisces, identify with the conflict, with the suffering of others, right? Virgo, Pisces is the axis of compassion, of service, of health and healing, and serving in general. So as I said, on the one side, you feel identified with everyone in the globe. You know, the Sun with Neptune and Pisces feels identified. Many people are posting, "I am Ukraine," right? And they identified with the people. And the Sun in Pisces with the Neptune and Jupiter may also be interpreted as great sacrifices, like the sacrificial, you know, how do you say this? The sacrificial goat, or the scapegoat. So it could be, you know, great sacrifices that are made, especially from authorities that are identifying with everybody, with the people. So what else I wanted to say? Oh, during the new moon in Pisces, Mercury was with Saturn, if you remember. And I wanted to point out that that is the aspect of it was the start of the cycle, and it doesn't mean that since Mercury moved on, it's finished. No, Mercury started its cycle with Saturn in Aquarius, and we have seen the control of media and control of the information on both sides. I'm not saying that it's just one side, but many people don't dare to say their opinion. Many journalists are not allowed to say what they found out, and all in the name of some interests, right? Saturn, governmental interests, of course, because Saturn also is ruling Capricorn and Pluto. So the corporate world, the oligarchs, and I mean, those don't have one side or another. Those people who have the power, right? They don't have sides. The only side is theirs. They defend their interests, and that's all. So the information channels have been hindered and blocked and repressed, and so starting the cycle with Saturn there in Aquarius means that the whole Mercury cycle, and probably next cycle as well, it will be we will witness the control of the opinion, YouTube videos who are down, who knows if I stay on YouTube, and you know, censoring, and it reminds me of the book 1984 that I read very early in my life. I was a teenager, I think 16 or 17 when I read it. I remember I was studying French at that time, and I went to the library and I found that book in French. So I decided to read it, and lo and behold, is not only visionary, but now is historical, right? We are making that history. And one of the things that was very vivid and is very vivid in my mind is that the history was written and rewritten every day. Every day there was this screen, right, where the news and the history appeared, and the next day it would disappear and the news story was written completely opposite. And at that time there was an East and West, and they were rewriting their versions of history. So pay attention. And depending on where you are in the world, you may think this side does this or that side does this. Well, it's everyone. And this happens on every government on the world. There are no exceptions. So what you read in the news, what you receive in the news is not what is really going on. There are things, yeah, some things are real, but sometimes the slant they presented on, or the way that they are conveyed, in the choice of information, how they choose the news to show us, is a sign that they are restricted in their way of publishing and posting news. So it is important for the citizens to be aware that not everything they hear or listen or watch is the truth and nothing but the truth. There are things that the public doesn't know, and it's shown by the moon in Virgo, trying to solve this puzzle that is Pisces, this confusion, this chaos. Mercury in Pisces is not very clear, let me tell you, and with Jupiter even less. So Jupiter is expanding the mind confusion, so we are not clear in our minds. Also, remember that it was in February 22nd was the USA Pluto return. So, and 2 days after, it was this declaration of war, which was not a declaration. Apparently, it was just a statement of a special operation. Anyways, remember that Pluto in the second house of the United States is representing the values of the United States. And this means that, especially at the latest degrees, 27, something almost 28, so it is values of power, right? And overpowering by the national institutions, Capricorn, governmental institutions who go and overpower and go to places where they are not called and they are not always welcome, right? Especially when you go with the Pluto power, trying to conquer, trying to modify, trying to coerce and do things that Pluto does, right? And if you know the Pluto archetypes, you understand what I mean. Anyways, then we'll have, after this full moon, we will have Venus square Uranus. And then Mars square Uranus. So we will have a sweet shock, and then we will have the full attack on something. I don't know, but Mars square, last square to Uranus. If you remember, 2 years ago, it was the conjunction of Mars and Uranus. And it was in January 2021, right? 2021, yes. It was January 2021. So January 20, the day, and 2021, the year. And now, from that beginning, if you live in the United States, you probably know what I'm talking about. And now we are closing the cycle. This is the last quarter square of Mars and Uranus. So I don't know what may happen. Archetypal meaning is that Mars is impulsive. Mars is attacking and tackling things. Is the match that lights the fire, and Uranus is the shock. So even an earthquake could happen. I'm not sure how it will manifest, but the Venus will square Uranus on March 19, the day after the full moon, and Mars on the 22nd. And then we have their conjunction with Saturn, another hit. March 28, Venus and Mars will conjunct Saturn on April the 5th. So the other point that I wanted to highlight is that by April, mid-April, Saturn will square the node. So we will have this change of direction in the regulations and constrictions and limits that Saturn is putting in the collective, and especially in online, right? The intervention of Saturn in the internet is a change of direction. So I don't know, but internet may find a way to be non-dependent on others. I mean, there are countries who may decide to disconnect from the rest of the world somehow, and become self-sufficient, internet self-sufficient. I'm not sure, but we will see. That happens April 12th, exactly the same day of Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So it may have to do with this global expansion of something. So, and again, it happens at 22 degrees. So when Saturn gets at 22 degrees, we'll activate again by semi-sextile the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and all the other 22 degrees, like the nodes of the moon, etc. So it is resonating again and again with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, which I wrote extensively about, and I said that since 1284, when it happened last time, in the same configuration with the Sun, with Mercury, with Jupiter, etc., that was in 1284. It was a matter of the confrontation of the East and West. And then when it happened again in 1450, 53, 54, don't remember exactly the year, but it happened, 1518 or 1520 or so. So the Saturn-Pluto conjunction was again the East and the West, because the East was for America, right? America was just invaded by Europe, so America would be the West and Europe would be the East, right? And so again, East and West confrontations, the empires fighting to dominate. So the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn has a lot to do with this friction between the East and the West, and also the rise and fall of empires. So look back in history, the history of Constantinople and etc., the Byzantine Empire, etc. So I don't want to make this video so long, but you can study on your own. The history is, the astrology is thematic, is archetypal, and it repeats not in the same events, but in the same themes. So that's what I have for you. The other thing is Mars and Venus will be sextiling Chiron as well. And all these 23 degrees will be aspecting, or 22, 23 degrees will be aspecting Eris. That is not in this chart, but it is here at the 23 Aries. So I hope you got ideas about the second part of March. Unfortunately, it will be challenging for everyone on Earth. I mean, at the personal level, we will be affected by the world events, and that will take form through economic issues, financial issues, work, communications, right? And the dissolution of boundaries, where the world will know migrations like never ever before. It is thought that about 5 million people will leave Ukraine. And remember Syria with millions of people still in camps because they are not able to come back to their homes. So the migration problem will be so huge that humanity will have to rethink the way they do boundaries. And it's probably, I think when Saturn enters Pisces, boundaries will be done over. Because it won't be possible to maintain the borders as we know them today, much less border walls. Anyways, so I hope you get some ideas and that you think of your own, on your own, right? That you are able to make your own judgments and your own investigations and your own ideas, and don't trust me on everything I say. Go and do research and investigate on your own. I think that it's time that we take responsibility for our own thinking, our own mind, and what we put in our minds, and understand that we are being fed through the media and social media and TV and everything. We are fed what those oligarchs and those people who are in power want us to think, and what they want us to do. So we are much influenced by people that don't even care about us. I mean, those soldiers that are fighting for their country, do they really know if their leader will protect them? Probably not, because their leader is trying to achieve his or her own purpose. And so we are following like we're like a flock. We are following leaders that don't care about us. So we need to start thinking by ourselves. We need to start making decisions of what we buy and everything that we do in life, and do it for ourselves, for the benefit of our community, our neighborhood, our families, and stop supporting people that don't even care about the regular folk. Okay, so sorry about that, but I hope you, I leave you with some ideas to and challenge you somehow, that that you may think of your behavior and the way that you live, they could be better, right? Okay, so happy full moon, and if possible, I love you all. Thank you for following and commenting, sharing, and liking the video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.